Hey, what's up guys, Alva here, and welcome back to the Last Question Mark Challenge here today for the 2018 Japanese Grand Prix. And today we're going to be doing the challenge with Pierre and his Toro Honda. Obviously, it's the Honda Japanese Grand Prix, obviously the home race effectively of the engine supplier, and so I thought we'd do it with Pierre Gasly. And obviously a very good feel vibe at Toro after the qualifying they had yesterday with Brendan Hartley in P6 and Gasly in P7, so the hope is they can do pretty well in the race. Obviously, we're going to start from the back and see if we can do anything to maybe predict where Gasly and Hartley come. We'll have to see really, but obviously it was a very weird qualifying session and Ferrari really didn't make the most of it, and this video being uploaded straight after the actual real life Grand Prix, so do let me know what you thought of not only qualifying but also the real life Grand Prix there and what you make of it. And actually, to be fair, in this kind of quote unquote simulation then of the race weekend, although Ferrari is a 1-2, which is definitely nothing like it was in real life, my teammate Brendan Hartley actually got P11 in this qualified session there, the simulated session, so that was actually a lot higher than you kind of usually have the Toro Rosso be on the base F1 2018 game. So maybe Hartley, my AI teammate, can actually get into the points paying positions, and we're going to try and aim for the points from P20. I mean, we're not going to aim for the podium or anything like that, but I think good points will be a very nicely done job here at Suzuka. Obviously, it's difficult to overtake sometimes with traffic, but we're going to have to try and make the most of it on the one-stop strategy. Obviously, if you're unfamiliar with this challenge, we do a 25% race to make the race short and sweet, but it means I'm pressurized to make the moves count, and I need to make it stick, and I can't dawdle too much mid-race. So here we go then, from last place on the grid for the 2018 Japanese Grand Prix with Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso Honda car for the Honda Japanese Grand Prix. Fire lights are out and we're underway, and that was quite a mouthful of an intro, but here we go then, 13 laps around Suzuka. It is a pretty mediocre start there. Sorokin gets a good one. We're going to try and go around the outside of both Williams cars. It's a big yellow flag situation as Raikkonen has spun off there on the outside of turn 1, and it's allowed us to sail around the outside of so many cars. We're already up into P13 then. Grosjean around the outside, so we're down to P14. But what a stonking start then. 6 overtakes into turn 1. Around the outside, I was already looking quite comfortable to maybe make at least 3 positions there, but then making a further 3 overtakes because everyone was kind of slowing down due to the yellow flags from Kimi Raikkonen. So Raikkonen now is stone dead last in this race after being spun out at turn 1 off front row. So I don't know, is that going to be a bad omen for the real life race? Who knows? You guys will know already, but obviously I don't know quite yet. But here we go now, down the inside of Romeo and Grosjean, big dive there. I need to make it, and already I can see the back of my teammate Brendan Hartley just ahead of Esteban Ocon. So a very good start. It's not often do I see my teammate straight away on lap 1 in these last question mark challenges here. So Hartley still doing an okay job though, to be fair, up in what is P11 from his grid slot. So he hasn't lost a position, but he hasn't gained anything quite yet. But here we go now, trying to chase after the Frenchman. Esteban Ocon can be sail around the outside, finding the momentum there, and the Toro Rosso working an absolute treat in sector 1, and we're up the order into P12. So very decent chassis at the moment, and obviously sector 1's all about momentum change. But at the moment, Ocon does come back. We know how good the Force India is in a straight line, and even though the Honda engine may have some upgrades, the Force India is able to sail past us back up into P12. So not often do I actually have to defend and look behind me in these last question mark challenges, because usually I start in a higher car like the Ferrari or the Mercedes car, but with the Toro Rosso, definitely have to look behind me still, even when we make the overtake. But here we go now, trying to make a pass down the inside of 130R. Doesn't quite work out there, so we have to kind of be patient and wait through the last chicane and the last corner. Have DRS, will, and so we'll put it up into overtake mode. Rich mix and see if we can try and make a pass into turn 1 maybe. We didn't get the best of exits though on the last corner, so we might have to wait until the middle of sector 1 to actually try and make that move, and once again kind of wait for the momentum change as we now go through very quickly. Actually, we actually try and find the grip around the outside. It doesn't quite work, but Ocon goes defensive somewhat into the exit of turn 1, so we nearly had it there. But now once again trying to find the groove. We can't make it on the right, we'll pull it on the left, and here we go now. We just try and plant the power as early as we can in 5th gear, and we do get it, and we're back up into P12. So the Force India quite poor in that sector 1, surprisingly. So now we catch up to our teammate Brendan Hartley on lap 5 though. It might be time to come in for our pit stop here and try and get an undercut on Hartley. And also you can see quite a big train actually ahead of us of the Haas, Renault, the McLaren of Alonso, I think that is as well, and the other Haas of Grosjean and Magnussen as well in that train. So maybe a chance to have a big undercut I should say, and also Sergio Perez part of that and the Force India. So we come in, Perez comes in, Alonso comes in, so we will be coming in 1 lap earlier than Hartley. So we've got a lot of people in the pit lane though, so we might have, unfortunately, there might be the chance to get held up in the pit lane by the traffic. So here we come in for the soft tyres, obviously a one-stop, so not even thinking about the medium tyres, but we are getting held up a little bit here. But to be honest, it's all these cars that would have been ahead of us anyway, but it did feel like an absolute age coming out the pit lane box, and so I was a little bit nervous about, oh, okay, are we going to lose time now to Hartley? Because that felt like an absolute age. I was sat there in the pit lane box, waiting to get released into the green flag situation. So we come out then in P19, but obviously as we go on through the Grand Prix, it's going to be eventually P11, P10, and we are ahead of not only Raikkonen there behind us, but also Brendan Hartley was right behind Raikkonen down the pit lane. And here we go, sailing around the outside of Ocon. So even though Ocon technically did overtake us on the overcut, we took him straight away on the exit of his pit lane exit around the outside of turn 1. Really nice move that was to get back up into what is now effectively P9 right behind Nico Hülkenberg. So against the Renault Works car, I guess sector 1 maybe is a good chance to overtake him, but we got yellow flags into turn 1. It's because of his teammate Carlos Sainz with an offer of some sort, just like Raikkonen had at the very start of the Grand Prix. So that's one less overtake we have to make, so we're up into P8 now. So it's going very well indeed. And Hartley actually is not too far off me, I think, on the mini-map there. I think he's maybe still in P11, P12-ish kind of. So he's still kind of sticking to where he qualified, to be fair. But anyway, we stick with Hülkenberg then, who's also catching up on Sergio Perez. So can we try and make a move on both these cars maybe in the next lap or two? Lap 8 already, so the time is really flown by. And now Hülkenberg slow through the Degner. Can we try and go down the inside here? It's going to be close. Lock up on the front left. A little bit of contact with Hülkenberg there, but a big dive that we had to try and make to put him off a little bit. And Hülkenberg on the exit goes a little bit defensive here. Can we try and get the slipstream then and try and maybe make a move into the spoon curves? Have a little look on the left, but not going to do anything. Hülkenberg now also goes a little bit defensive and slows both of us down there on purpose there. He goes very slow in that first apex, but now onto the slingshot towards 130R. Can we actually try and maybe do this now like we did on Ocon previously with overtake mode on ERS Rich Mix going as well on the last minute? I had it on standard actually just then beforehand because I was trying to save some fuel, but here we go now into the last chicane. Big dive on the outside there, lock up on the front right, but then down to the inside of the final two corners there, and we do get Hülkenberg up into P7. Really nice overtake there, had to make it work. Big bold move around the outside. Usually the AI are very good into the chicane there, but had to make that stick. When tried to risk it to go a little bit deep into the corner, and effectively it made it work to the inside. But now we'll try and chase after Perez after going a little bit wide into turn 1, but that'll be fine for us. And now we can try and chase after the Mexican. So now we move on. Last two laps of the Grand Prix coming up after lap 11, and now can we try and overtake Perez? We go steaming into turn 1 and catch a fair bit of time. So just like with Ocon, the Force India, for some reason, it seems so piss poor in Sector 1 here. So can we try and overtake Perez again in Sector 1 like we did with Ocon here? Trying to find the groove around the outside. Here we go now to the inside part of the power fifth gear, but Perez chopped us off there, and we just about managed to narrowly avoid and kind of have some foresight that he was going to chop our front end off, so we back out of that. We got yellow flags up ahead though, and so it looks like we got some cars with some issues. It looks like it might be a Red Bull and also a Mercedes car, and so as we go into the hairpin then, it's going to be Daniel Ricciardo that has got an issue in this Grand Prix. So just like qualifying yesterday, Ricciardo issues, and there goes Hamilton with an engine failure. So how much would Vettel want that to be the case in real life there? Hamilton with an engine failure out of the Japanese Grand Prix here. He also takes Ricciardo out with him, so I suspect maybe Hamilton had an engine failure right in front of Ricciardo, and Ricciardo maybe slammed into the back of him and kind of took him out of the Grand Prix. So both Ricciardo and Hamilton with DNF, so definitely a scenario that Vettel would want in the real life Grand Prix, but obviously you guys can tell me or not if that's correct or not. Probably it's not. I'll be very surprised if Hamilton actually gets an engine failure, because the Mercedes car has been a pretty solid rock in terms of reliability. To be fair, both cars have been pretty damn good reliability wise for Vettel and Hamilton. But now we move on to try and overtake Perez now as we move on to lap 12. Doesn't work out on that lap. We're actually going to move on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, and so this is the last chance. But to be fair, Perez is P4, I'm P5. I'm already in a very high position. If Gasly gets P5 in the race tomorrow, he can be very happy with himself. But I'm going to try my best to try and get P4 if we can on the Mexican man in the Force India car again in Sector 1, trying to dance the Toro Rosso around it. Here we go to the inside there. Perez hardly gives me any room. He almost shoves me off onto the grass there. Very rude stuff from Perez. I'm fully alongside him there. He should have given me the room, and yet he squeezed me onto the grass there, but we make it anyway and and try and make a point of trying to squeeze him off to the outside here by going slow. And so we're up into P4, but now we've got worrying times here, because on the heads-up display, we've got low fuel. You can see that I'm in lean mixture, trying to save the fuel. We're also on none ERS, because on the right-hand side on the heads-up display, you can also see I don't have too much battery store available. So at the moment, going into the back straight after Spoon, Perez, Raikkonen and Hülkenberg, you know, they might have a very good chance of overtaking me, because I'm going very slow now in lean mixture and none. We're going to bump it up into standard and also go up into overtake mode on the exit then to try and do a last minute defensive work here. But Sebastian Vettel wins this Japanese Grand Prix. Perez, though, is going to come knocking, as well as Raikkonen here. Here goes Perez around the outside. Raikkonen is also, it's 3 wide, and Raikkonen makes a pass on Perez there. And so Raikkonen's the one that's going to sail through down the inside. We try to defend him as best we can. The man who went out at turn 1 and was last place at the very beginning of lap 1 overtakes us for P4 on the last lap of the Grand Prix, and we come home in P5, which, to be fair, is still a very good result for Toro Rosso, and it's still a very good result for Pierre Gasly. But in this simulation then, Hamilton is out, Vettel wins the Japanese Grand Prix. How much would Ferrari want that to be the case in a real life Grand Prix? But alas, it probably isn't the case. So do let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the real life Grand Prix. But if you didn't enjoy that challenge, then hit the like button and let me know what you thought of that. I thought a pretty damn enjoyable race, actually. Really nice moves in Sector 1 especially. And to be fair, as we move on to the end race results, both myself and Hartley actually do pretty damn well. Obviously, I did really well, but Hartley still can pat himself on the back there. So actually pretty okay representation of maybe what the Toro Rosso can hope for in the race that's already gone. I was about to say tomorrow. It's tomorrow for me, but it's already gone for you guys. But anyway, if you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been Alva. I'm Josh today, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.